So now we're going to do the properties on the home page. I want 3 randomized properties. So one thing I forgot to do that I just fixed is in the property card component, I had a bunch of classes that I forgot to set to class name. So just make sure you go through, just open up your console, and if you see any warnings saying, class needs to be class name, just make sure you fix that. All right, so if we open up our home page, which is app and then page.jsx, we could bring in our JSON file here, loop through them, display them, but I don't really want to put all that in the home page. I'd like to put that in a separate component. So let's create another component in the components folder called home properties.jsx. That way we can keep our home page kind of clean. And then in here, we'll do RAFCE. Okay, and then I guess let's just save it and import it into our home page. So home properties. We'll put that right under info boxes. Okay, so we should see this, home properties. And then in here, we're going to bring in our JSON file. And this is temporary, obviously. Later on, we'll be hitting some API routes that will interact with the database. But for now, properties from @/properties.json. Okay, and then let's see. As far as the HTML, we can go to the theme, the index HTML, which is our home page, and go down to where it says recent properties, not featured properties. I'm not sure if I'm going to even do that, but down where it says recent properties, I just want the opening section, that div, the H2, and the grid div. So I'm just going to copy those. And then in here, let's paste that in, and then of course we need our ending tag, so div section. All right, and then what we'll do, if we save that, we should see the heading here. And again, make sure you change the class to class name. So all these, class name. Okay, and then inside this div with the grid, I'm gonna map through here, or loop through here with map. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, since we're gonna randomize them, and I only want 3. I want to cut it to 3. So I'll put it in a separate variable up here. Let's say recent properties, and set that to the properties that are coming from the JSON file. And then I'm going to go on to the next line, and I'm going to use sort. And to randomize it, we can just do math.random minus math.random. So that will randomize, and then let's also, we only want 3, so I'm going to use slice here and pass in 0 and 3. So we just want whatever the first 3 from this randomized list, this randomized array. Okay, and then here we can say if recent properties, let's say if it's equal to 0, then we'll put a paragraph, and we'll say no properties found. Okay, and then else, then we want to do our map. So let's take our recent properties dot map. And then in here, a property, open some parentheses here, and I just want to display the property card, which we're going to pass in a key, which will be the property dot underscore ID, and then of course property itself. Close that, and that should have got auto imported, except it's not from the right place. We want that to be @/components. Okay. And there we go. Looks like, did I forget class again somewhere? Let's see. No, that must have been old. All right, so we're seeing luxury condo, cozy downtown loft, but if I reload, now we see luxury condo, ski in, ski out. So it's just going to be 3 random properties every time. All right, now the last thing I want to do here is have a button to go to all the properties. So if we look in the theme files again, down where recent properties, there's another section underneath. If we go down past this right here where it has that button. So I'm going to copy this section, and then I want it to go under this section. So remember, with JSX, you have to return a single parent element. So that means we're going to have to add a fragment around this section. And then underneath that first section, we'll paste in this one. And let's make sure we change this to class name. And let's change this A tag to a link, which we have to bring in. So up at the top here, import link from next link, and I'm just going to bring that, yeah. Okay, and then the link itself is going to go to just /properties. So get rid of that. Now if I click on that, it brings us to the properties page. All right, so it looks like I'm still missing, I still have class somewhere. So what I'm going to do is just search for, let's say, class equals. Where is this? There we go, properties page. So here, here, and here. Okay, that should take care of it. All right, cool. So what I want to do next before we move on to the database is create a custom 404 page. Because if I go to like /whatever, something that doesn't exist, we do get a 404, but I'd like to have it, blend into the the theme here and have a button to go back to the home page. So we're going to do that next.